Hello and welcome to an episode of Vulgar Display a Podcast. I am your host, Dustin Dubuque, one of the very offshoot hosts who really focuses on the extreme metal, and I'm very excited to be here today. I had to tell Dallas quick off microphone that I'm kind of been a fan of his for a while, and I always tell myself not to do that fanboy thing. So I got that out of the way really quick in the beginning, and now I can sit here and be as quote-unquote professional as I can be as I chit-chat with him for a little bit. But we got Dallas here, the lead singer and guitarist and songwriter for Narcotic Wasteland. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir.
Great to have you on here. I mean, those listening at Vulgar Display Podcast know that Zymurgy Brewing and Vulgar Display Podcast have been working well together over the past 2 years as co-sponsors to things we do. And one of the things that we have going on, as has been promoted on here, is we have our Zymurderfest in Menomonie on August 12th. And coincidentally, Dallas and his band Narcotic Wasteland are headlining that event. So this kind of works out pretty well. So with that said, you have a big tour kind of coming up with Gorgatron and Tegmentum. I don't think I know them, which is one of the best things about metal is going to lineups and not knowing everyone. So then you just get to be fans of everyone. So how's the prep going for that? Because it starts here in about a week out.
Yeah, we're getting ready, doing a lot of just practice time on my own. So when I get together with the guys, I know what the hell I'm doing. So mandatory practice on the set list every day, pretty much until I leave. And, just practice in general. And also we're in the final stages of releasing a new single, which we're hoping will be out we're really hoping it's going to be out in the next week or two at the worst case scenario. But it'll be finished and delivered this weekend. So we're excited about that. It'll be the the fourth one that we've released for this particular album cycle. And we're really excited about how this one came out and looking forward to playing it live. We've been kind of playing it live anyways on a few of the shows that we've done so far this year, just to sort of feel the song out a little bit. And I'm going to have a terrible time trying to sing and play this bastard at the same time. So that's something that I've been kind of practicing on my own as well, trying to get everything locked down in that way and get it as close to the actual version as possible. It can be a challenge. I mean, sometimes the song is easy to sing and play and you can just do it. And then sometimes there's parts in there, that it's like the rhythm is going that way and the rhythm on this thing is going this way. And it can be tricky, but it's always a fun challenge.
I was just going to ask you that because, I guess that's something that I would think about. I think that about pretty much anybody who sings and plays at the same time. I am not a musician. I just enjoy from the sidelines, especially when somebody is as technical and stuff as you are. Do you sometimes with certain songs and stuff, do you try to push yourself to see what you can do, or is that just always in the back of your mind sometimes?
I don't think it's an intentional thing. I think it just kind of ends up happening where I start working on something and it's kind of crazy and difficult to get on lockdown by nature. And you just work at it and finally get it down. And then some stuff is just comes to you and it's easy, or easier anyways. I don't know if any of this is really easy, but there's varying levels of difficulty when it comes to it, because at the end of the day, for me, it's not even so much about that. Excuse me. It's more about, what the song is, calls for, what it's talking about, or just some of the melody ideas that'll just, you hear in your brain or whatever, and then try to transpose it over here. And it goes all different ways. You can experiment and find some cool stuff, or you hear something in your head and you try to figure it out. And somewhere in there's a song.
So somebody who doesn't know Narcotic Wasteland, how do you explain, what's your elevator pitch of how you explain what the style of the band is?
A lot of people, I guess, would probably call us technical death metal. But for me, it's I feel a lot of sort of thrash and punk influences in there, as well as some black metal too. So that's the three big ones. And I mean, there might even in a couple of sections have a little bit of a rock and roll vibe even, But for the most part, people would say that we're, like technical death metal band or whatever. I'm kind of fine with that. I'm not really big on labels. So, I mean, we're a metal band.
I was just going to say, let the fans fight over all the labels that we have for the subgenres of metal. And then, we'll make it work.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a big element of death metal in it. One of the things being the voices, but musically and lyrically, it's a little, for me, I'm more on the like punk thrash crossover side, which has always been some of my favorite music ever. So.
Sure. So you bring up the vocal style, and I was going to bring up yours. Like your vocals are extremely different. For like, I think people who know your like, there's certain vocalists in metal that you can kind of hear them, and you definitely know who they are because of the vocal style being different. When there's enough bands out there where I listen to them and they sound, not saying they're not talented because they are, but they sound relatively the same, and I would have troubles picking out certain vocalists. But your vocals is very, I don't know, harsh. I don't even know how do you explain your style? Because that's always interesting.
Well, for me, and I can't say this was always true, but we saw what happened, in the 80s and the 90s, where there was a time where it was like, even me back in the day, in the late 80s, early 90s, I was singing more along the lines of like old Sanctuary and Sabotage type stuff. Like, so I was like, like
who doesn't love to do that? Even if you're not.
And, that was kind of what we were trying to do back then. But, as the guitar playing got more complicated, it started holding the melody a little bit more. So, there was the whole thing of trying to be as low and guttural as possible. And I think a lot of people go through many phases with all this stuff. But for me now, I just want it to sound very angry, aggressive. Like, I want it to sound pissed off and distinct. You know what I mean? So it isn't so much about being like a guttural vocal or this vocal or a screechy vocal or anything like that. It's supposed to sound like natural anger. And I think that really translates a lot better instead of just, putting your head in a toilet bowl and going, if that's what you like, that's cool. And I'm not bagging on any of that at all. Some of that stuff I like too, but I think when you have that distinction, and at least to the point where you can understand that, those are actual words he's saying. When you get to that point, then you're getting into the anger, the real anger that comes, from the heart or the gut or whatever you want to call it. That's, so whatever it is that's coming out of this raspy throat of mine is just based in that sort of anger. You know what I mean?
That makes total sense. Now that you say it, I mean, that's such a good way of explaining. Now I'll use that for the next month when I talk about Narcotic Wasteland, like I have been every day, about trying to get everybody here. That's how I'll explain it to the people who that I need to like tell, like, this is why you need to come watch this band. Is the lead singer's angry and screaming at you, and that to me sounds like a sell.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the jokes that we would even make, and it was like, all right, I guess it's time to go play guitar and scream at people for an hour. Yeah.
It's so true. But hey, it's a fun experience. That's all I try to tell people. And in my town of minimal metalheads, but plenty of people who are interested. So that's I take all the adjectives I can use to explain most of this.
You walk in a little bit late, and they're already going on, and you hear the voice, and you're like, am I in trouble? He sounds really mad at me.
That's exactly it. We have it's funny at our show, because again, we're in Menomonie, so we're Northwest Wisconsin. We're like an hour east of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul. And,
right.
We're rural enough, but like it's still a city, and we have backing from our tourism to promote the show. So we get funding from that. And so because of that, our tourism people show up to these shows because
nice.
And it's great because there are middle-aged ladies coming off the golf course, and they roll up into a metal show, and that's the exact response they get. So it's pretty fun. So like you say, Narcotic Wasteland is like the passion project overall, and I know like you guys kind of started in like the mid 2010s. What was the transition like kind of taking this full time? as like the band that you were, really focused on?
I just kind of started doing it. I mean, once I, things worked out to where I had the time, I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to do this now. And, I had, over the years, of course, was in Nile for like 18 or 19 years. And then along the way, I did a couple of other bands for fun on the side. And once everything cleared away, I just decided that, the best thing you need to do is just concentrate on one thing. And that's what I did. I concentrated. I decided to just put all my energy into this. And it's been a lot of fun. We, just because of, situations here and there, and then the whole, of course, I'm so sick of everybody's sick of hearing about the whole COVID thing that happened. So it did actually take us a little while to really start doing things like playing shows. So last couple of years is the most active the band has been on the live front since, and I'm really, really happy and feel lucky about so many things concerning that. The fact that we were actually able to go out and do it, number one. Number two, the fact that, I'm not old, but I'm starting to get there a little bit. And the fact that I can perform and dig into the guitar better than I really ever have with minimal fatigue or anything like that. Like, I'm thankful that I'm still in tip-top form, and life happens, things happen, and not everybody can say that. And I consider it lucky that I'm able to still do this on any capacity whatsoever.
And like, it doesn't look like you guys are stopping, because not only do you have the tour coming up, but I see Narcotic Wasteland on a lot of stuff right now, kind of playing it, because you guys were just in Texas. Am I right? Did that just happen?
Yep, we did 4 shows in Texas. It went pretty well, especially Houston. And then I was also saying that, I'm just really happy to get this new single out very soon. And we're a little behind schedule. I really wanted the full album to be out by now for a while. But, life happens. Nothing bad or anything like that. Just, you have to do other things in life sometimes. And but the album is coming out this year. I'm very excited about releasing the rest of it. We're actually going to release this single and one more, and then we're going to put the album out. And very excited about it. It's been a long time coming at this point. I'm just ready for this one to be out and for people to check it out, because I'm already into song number 2 for the next one. So
I feel like that's just par for the course at this point.
It's just the way it can be sometimes. You just have other life obligations, family or whatever, you know what I mean? And that takes time. And, and as much as we love metal and music and playing in bands and all that stuff, there are other things in life. There
is. That's very true. Yes.
So, I just try to get it while I can, when I can, you know what I mean? And I keep just chipping away at it. And I'm very excited about many things. Like the current lineup, like the guys in the band, like this literally is the best the band has ever sounded live, for real, by a long shot. Like, the band has grown so much since the first time we ever played live. So I'm really, really happy about that.
No, that's great. That was actually going to be my next question about the lineup. Really, if you want to elaborate more on the other crew in it, that'd be great.
Well, a couple of years ago now, I think it was late 2020 or early 2021, we started jamming with Joseph Howard, our current drummer, and instantly just everything creatively and everything just clicked. And he's a really cool guy, and he's just full of talent, and he's a pleasure to be around. He's a joy to jam with. And then our current lead guitarist, he hasn't really been able to tour or do anything like that, so we got a guy named Brett Lee. I'm very excited to work with him as well, because he has been doing nothing but kicking ass. I think him and Joe's show together I think that was both their first shows. So both of them guys have been in the band almost 2 years now, and it's just full of talent. And then our original bassist left around about the time those guys got in the band. And we had an old friend of mine named Chris Gorsion for a while, and he was really great, but it didn't work out. And now we've got Kenji, which Kenji's been doing a lot of our video stuff for these singles. And he did our lyric video for The Best Times of Past, and he actually did our music video for Victims of the Algorithm. Extremely stellar, talented bass player, very good artist in general with all of it. Like, he's got like some kind of 8-string crazy thing that he's playing on like this, and it's really cool. I cannot, and I have him right over here actually. He tracked bass on the new single. Very, very super smart, super talented guy. The shows, we've done 5 shows with Kenji now, and it's just night and day. Like the band has never been this airtight. It's ridiculous. I'm enjoying it.
So what you're saying is everybody that's coming to watch you guys on this tour, like a shameless plugging, is going to see like the best Narcotic Wasteland that they can see so far. So that's why everybody should attend the tour dates that you're near.
Absolutely, and I'm very excited for the future of the band moving forward. And like I said, I just want to get this album out because it's been sitting there for quite a while now, and it's just ready. Let's just do that and move on into the future.
I know we talked quick off mic about now that you have this band, and you said like that you pretty much want to play anywhere. What's it feel like being like, kind of on the road, maybe playing occasional smaller venues? And I mean, it looks like you're playing some Canada dates too. So pretty much from West Coast up to Canada to the Midwest right now. So what's it like being out on tour right now and maybe playing smaller venues? And
I love it. I mean, again, I'm thankful and glad that I'm, able-bodied to get out there and do it. A lot of people can't say that, and I'm very thankful for that. And it's a lot of fun to be able to play anywhere, and some of the more intimate places I very much love to return. And there's, of course, some larger venues that we play, but, I like to keep things sort of utilitarian that way, where we can go just about anywhere and play. I just like that. I like the sort of punk aspect of it, I guess. And but I mean, we can do any or. The last year was anything from 300 to 3,000 cap rooms. You know what I mean? Like, so it's always just fun to get out there.
I always like to ask the off metal questions. So you were kind of referencing, life gets in the way. So outside of what everybody knows you for, what else is your, what do you do? What do you do for fun, family, all that type of stuff?
Well, I've got I have a 24-year-old son that's in the U.S. Air Force. I also have a wonderful girlfriend at the moment. And, and I've got, I hang out with my brother. I get to see my mom sometimes, and that's pretty much it, And then, of course, the bandmates and friends that I've known since I was like 14 or whatever. I've got a pretty small circle, but I try to, have some time for that as well. And,
Yeah. Oh, no, I get it. It's all good. Well, as we wrap up here, because we've had a few connection issues that hopefully is edited around, so we don't get that. You talked a lot on Narcotic Wasteland. I have to ask. I like to keep it. Also, you're touring with Gorgatron. You guys are under the same agency too.
Yeah, we've actually done a couple of. We've done a show or two with them before, and actually, we went to a show. And those guys are great, man. And they were actually, when we played the Denver Deathfest, they were there at the show that night. But I think they either played the night after or the night before as headliners, I think. I can't remember for sure, but super cool dudes and super tight band live. And it's always, they're always fun to hang around with. And, they're a hardworking band.
Yeah.
And I like to see that, and it looks like their hard work is paying off, and that's great. I love that. I love seeing the success stories, because I've seen a few over the years.
I was just gonna say, what's one or two that come to mind that you remember seeing that you're like, okay, all right.
the Black Dahlia murder. Yeah, when they got their start, and I remember they were on tour with, it was Black Dahlia murder, Behemoth, Nile, and King Diamond. I believe that was in 2005.
Too good.
And then, fast forward 6 or 7 years later, and Nile's opening for Black Dahlia murder. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that was really cool. And those guys, again, they worked their fucking asses off for that shit. It wasn't like they were, this wasn't like they just got it handed to them. Those guys really toughed it out, and it's cool to see those guys still going.
Oh yeah, I saw them at Milwaukee Metal Fest like a month ago, and it was the first time seeing it without Trevor, and it was surreal, but popularity was still there. So it's cool to see that they did keep going. And I was actually I was at the St. Paul date for that tour when you guys opened for them. So I remember that show.
Yeah, man, that was a great tour.
It was. Yeah, you guys, I remember that was when Station 4 was still open in St. Paul. And then I remember I saw Nile when you guys were there, and you get the double set tour where you played the double set.
Oh yeah, Evening with Nile, the 20-year anniversary. Yep.
Yeah. I was at that. It was like one of the last shows they ever had at that venue before they closed it down. I remember that. That was like you guys were part of like the final like 2-week stretch over there.
Damn.
Yep, that was the last show I saw there.
I always hate hearing about a venue close.
I know. Yeah, again, we brought it up a couple times, but post-COVID didn't help anything on that either. So that's a killer. But well, as we wrap up here, do you have anything? Anything else you want to plug? Say how people can find Narcotic Wasteland, follow everything.
Oh yeah, definitely. But first, I would like to say just thanks. All the metalheads out there, thanks. Not even if you don't like what I do, just thanks for being metal and supporting metal. And that's really big to me. But also, yeah, if you are interested or whatever and digging the stuff, check us out on any of the social media platforms, pretty much. Narcotic Wasteland on Facebook or Instas or now it's the TikToks, and all this stuff is. I'm starting to be an old timer. It's got your TikToks and your dick docs and fucking whatever the fuck that shit is. So we're on there, but you can also check out narcoticwasteland.com. And we try to keep everything fairly updated on what's going on tour date wise and what's coming out new music wise and all that. We try to, stay up on all that, and check us out on any of the social media platforms. We're pretty much there. That'll have like tour dates and upcoming releases for new songs or new albums and all that stuff. If you want to do the old school thing, you can go to the website and order the CD online from the website, and we have some merchandise available, like T-shirts and stuff. Sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. And again, I'll do shameless plug for myself. Zymurderfest is August 12th. Again, Narcotic Wasteland's headlining. Gorgatron, Embryonic Autopsies there. And then we got some support with 6-7 other bands. I know Nest, Pantheon, Maniacal Force, Stetzel Symphony, and a few others that I will not remember, even though I should know every single one of them off the top of my head right now.
I know a couple of those bands.
Yeah. I know it's a good lineup, I think, for what we're doing. We're really trying to, and at our event, we got we got the whole kit and caboodle. We got food truck. We got beer specials. We got fire breathers and fire dancers. We're making a party. So they got to come party with Narcotic Wasteland on August 12th in Menomonie, Wisconsin. That's what you have to do.
Oh, that's freaking rad.
Yeah.
Need it now. We need is a freaking meat raffle.
You'd be right in meat raffles. Get some cheese curds flowing. You're in Wisconsin at that point.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
We might do a garage sale outside in the parking lot, and we are set to go. So yeah, well, hey, thanks, Dallas. Good luck on the tour and everything coming up, and thanks for joining.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks a lot.